journey. It was tough, man, it was tough. I can't explain it all, but just know it is really, really tough. A journey that people were dying. A journey that people were fainting. No food, no water. It got to a point in the desert. Sorry.
It's okay. Libya. It's alright. It's okay.
So, it got to a point in the desert. The driver said their hillocks has broken down. That they had to go back to Niger to change it. Where we are coming from is very far, and we don't even know how far it is from where we were. But just know we're in the middle of nowhere. No food, no shelter, just an open field. So, 2017, I just dropped out from school because that period the school fee was increased times 2, and it was me and my sister were paying about 170 many years ago. So it was very difficult for my father to keep up. One of us had to step down. So when I dropped, I had this friend back there, very good friend of mine, and she came up to me and she was like, oh, there's this opportunity to go to Europe. Will you want to? I said, of course. It's everybody's prayer that our parents are proud of us. I was really, really happy because the only thing that got into my head was like, oh, I'll go to Europe, I'll make money, I'll change my family's life, I'll build a big house, I'll buy a car. Little did I know that it was the plans of the enemy. So I agreed. I said, okay, how do we go? She said, there's this man that sponsors people to Europe. You get to Libya first, and then from Libya you continue your journey. Then there's job there, they'll provide job for us, what kind of job you have, and what kind of qualification you have, there's job for you. And then I said, okay, let's go. So we met with this man, and he told us this is how it is. When you start working, then you can pay back everything we spent. I said, okay, that's fine. We proceeded. From Abuja here, my friend was supposed to join me from Anambra State. I was in Abuja as at then. On the day we were supposed to embark on this trip, I was already at the park waiting for my friend. And then she called me that, oh, she just lost her brother. She got information that she lost her brother, that she has to travel back. And I'm like, okay, I understand. It's okay if you want to go back, but I will continue. I don't think it's okay for me to go back home. I didn't know that all those things were all set up. So I continued my journey to Kano. I met other Nigerians on my way as well. From Kano, we got to the border. From the border, we got to Niger. There was a place they kept us. I met thousands of young Africans, 17, 15, 16. So, after spending about 3 to 4 days there, they brought hillocks that we were traveling in hillocks. I said hillocks. That means the place is not far. I said that means the place is not far. So, in the small hillocks, there are so many of us in the hillocks. It was so tight. You can barely sit, not even to stand. And myself, at that point, I was already feeling sick, really, really sick. We continued our journey. It was tough, man, it was tough. I can't explain it all, but just know it is really, really tough. A journey that people were dying. A journey that people were fainting. No food, no water. It got to a point in the desert. Sorry.
It's okay. Libya. It's alright. It's okay.
So, it got to a point in the desert. The driver said their hillocks has broken down. That they had to go back to Niger to change it. Where we are coming from is very far, and we don't even know it is from where we were. But just nowhere, in the middle of nowhere. No food, no shelter, just an open field. It was so cold. We slept in the desert in an open field for good 2 weeks. People were dying. We finally found a well, and everybody was like, oh, water, water, water. So we started fetching to drink, only to realize that there were dead bodies inside the water we were drinking. We drank it like that because you have no option. Those drivers collected our foods, our water, and our money. After 2 weeks in the desert, they came. Before they came, some other people, I don't know who they are, they came to rob us, collected our clothes, collected everything, the little things we had. They collected everything. We continued our journey and got to Libya. I can't remember the name of the place, but it's a place where after all your trip, you just get there. It's like a big container. Right in the big container, there are a lot of people there, men and women in the same place. You pick there, you put there, you brush there, you eat there. It was so smelling. We stayed there for 3 days. Okay, on the 4th day, that was when the man that was supposed to come and pick us up came and picked us up. So we followed him to his place. It's called Saba. We got to Saba. He took us to his place. I met other people there. So there were 3 of us. He received 2 girls and a boy. So the boys, what they do with boys is that they torture you, flog you, starve you. You have to call your people back home to send money. That's what they do with boys. But for girls, they trade you for sex slave. So they put you in a place, different men come, make their choice, you satisfy them, and then you bring back money. That's what women basically do. I said, sir, when are we going to Europe? He looked at me and he said, you're not going to Europe, this is where you are coming to. I said, no, that is not what they told us. They said we are going to Europe, that we are going to Europe to work and earn money. He said, no, you have to work for me before you go to Europe. And it's your choice if you want to go to Europe, but you have to work for me. We said, okay, me and the other girl. Okay, what job are we supposed to do? He said that we are supposed to pay about 1.5 million each of us. As at then, 2017, we're supposed to pay 1.5 million. Then after paying, you can go. We said, okay, we're going to work. But what job are we going to do? He said, you're going to be sleeping with men to bring back money, to pay that money. We said, no, we can't do that. I've not done this before and it will not start now. He said, okay. So he locked us up. It was just the 2 of us in a very dark room, no food, nothing. Morning, they'll flog us. Afternoon, they'll flog us. Evening, they'll flog us. He continued like that for 2 weeks. And I even suggested, okay, let me call my family back at home. Maybe they can send money. He said, no, that is not even an option, that you have to work to pay back this money. So it continued like that. The beating and torture continued like that for about 3 weeks. 3 weeks, yeah. So the pressure was too much. We gave him, we said, okay, we are going to work. He put us in a room with other young Nigerians. Some of them are even 14, 15. You know, I think the most senior of us then was around 21, 25. This was how young we were back then. We were doing that work for a while. And then I was able to make friends there, good friends that are like, okay, how much is remaining? Let me pay up so you can be free. So I talked to my boss. I said, this is what is going on. I want to pay up the money so that I can leave this place. My boss said, okay, bring your record. Because I have my own record. You have your own record and he will have his own record. Let's compare and do what I have to balance. After comparing, he said, okay, this is what you have left to balance. I said, yes. So one of those people I know, they brought the money. The next they brought the money in cash and gave to my boss. My boss said, okay, when are you ready to leave? I said, I want to leave the next day because it was already late that very day. Saba is bad. When I say Saba is bad, it's bad. You can imagine a place that as a woman, you cannot even walk 1 minute without getting kidnapped. That is how bad Saba was. Immediately you step out from your house, you are being kidnapped. It was so terrible. So terrible. That every day you hear news of this one has been shot, this one is dead, this one has this problem, different kinds of bad news flying around. 9 p.m. that very day, my boss received that money. My boss called me. Okay, 11 p.m. called me, said, this money your friend brought is not enough. That he has calculated again and realized that I'm still owing him another 1.5 million. I said, sir, how? This is not what we calculated. I'm very sure of my records. And you have the same thing I have. Bring it again, let's calculate. That was how he slapped me. He slapped me and started beating me that I should get out from here. So the next day, that my friend that paid that money came and wanted to make issues with my boss. So my boss called some Arab men, they beat him, took him. Honestly, I don't know what happened to him because after that moment, I never saw him again. But I knew they took him forcefully out from there. I continued working. While I was working, I was already planning on how to escape from there. On the 4th month, I made connections. I already got connections with people from other states, close by states, that people I trusted that this is what I want to do. I'm tired of this place and I can't remain like this. On the 4th month, I was able to find my way. 5 p.m. in the morning, I woke up and to God be the glory, I escaped out from there successfully. From there, I proceeded to Tripoli. That's the capital. I was in Tripoli, I got a job. I was working as a domestic staff. So I was hoping that I could raise money to return back to Nigeria. While working, 1 month, I saved a little money, 2 months. On the 2nd month, the driver that always take me to work, halfway gone, he said his vehicle was bad, that I had to continue with another vehicle. That he has a brother that he trusted that can take me to work. Little I know that I'll be kidnapped. So I entered the Hilux, hoping that I would get to the office. From there, he took me to a house. And when we were there, I said, this is not the road to my workplace. This is not the road. He brought out a gun, that if I shout, if I talk, he's going to shoot me. I was scared. He took me to a place, they locked me up in a room. 12 midnight that very day, from Tripoli, I found myself in Brak. You know where Brak, the headquarters of all their evil activities. I found myself in Brak. So he sold me off to a place. They call it Tranque, but I will use the word prison so that we all can understand. There were thousands and thousands of us. This place is so big. But as big as this place is, you can't even lie, you can't get a comfortable sleep. Even if your neighbor dies, you'll be happy. So you can even stretch your legs. That is how bad this place is. Every morning, they bring out at least 3 dead bodies. 3 dead bodies. Sometimes we stay 3 days, no food, no. The water we even drink, you know how Fanta is. It's just like Fanta color. That is the water we drink there. No medication, nothing. The girls, every day, they keep selling women for prostitution. People come to buy different women. And then the men, they just torture them, flog them, chain their legs up, their heads are down, they are flogging them, they'll call their family members on video call to see what they are going through. And sometimes your family members will send money. They will not even release you, they will not even let you know that, oh, your family has actually sent money. You'll still be there receiving beating and all those torture. So Sometimes after receiving your money, they will even sell you to some other person. And you know what it means? After selling you, you have to pay that money all over again. Maybe sometimes it's even times 3 of what your buyer used in buying you. That's how bad it is. In my own case, I don't know why the man refused to sell me, because he was selling other women. I was there in that prison, seeing all the horror things going on, how people, human beings, are maltreating their own human beings. It got to a point, I stayed there for good 3 months, and I'm asking myself, God, do you still exist? How can you sit down and you allow people you created to torture another people you created? Why? Are you still on the throne? Are you still on the throne? I asked that question several times. People were dying every day. Some women were pregnant right in the prison cell. And you sit down there and watch. Why would you sit down there and watch? 3 good months inside the prison cell. I was not in contact with my family. Nobody knew if I was dead or I was alive right there. Until one day a lady walked in. She's a Nigerian as well. She works for the man, she's a nurse. At that period, I fell ill. And she was supposed to give me medication. Then we talked and she's like, oh, you're an evil lady like myself. She and her husband, they work up, they do the same trafficking jobs. So her husband comes there to buy people and take to his own place. So those girls work for him, prostitution. He's a Cameroon man, his wife is a Nigerian. So we became friends. We talk every day. And one day she was like, okay, come to my house, since you are the only female here, because they've sold other ladies. It was just me that was there. She said, come to my house and stay for a while. I said, no, I don't want to go. She said, why not? So the man that owns the place, she called the man. I was like, oh, this is my sister, let her come and stay with me. The man said, okay. I said, okay, I'll go with you. I went to her place to stay, hoping that I was going to get some rest. But when I went there, was another torture. She would want me to clean her house, to wash for her, to do all manner of things. No, that's fine. I think that's the best treatment I got in Libya. So, that was the first time I visited her. I stayed for a couple of days, and then I returned back to the prison. I stayed in prison for some time. I returned back to her place. After the second time I visited her, I got access to phone. So from there, I would chat my family on, this is what is going on, this is what is going on. It's not been easy. So my dad was very worried. He started making calls, calling everybody, that the whole bodies in Nigeria that were fighting against human trafficking. My dad was reaching out to them. So they sent me number for some people at the embassy. I contacted them, and that was how I started planning my escape. Because that is the only way to escape. You can't escape from the prison unless if you have opportunity to come out. From her place, the person the embassy sent has already booked a taxi, planned the taxi. That was how the driver came and took me out from there. That was how I escaped from that prison. I was with the embassy. Finally, we came back to Nigeria. To cut a long story short, there's still more, but to save time, I came back to Nigeria. When I came back to Nigeria, I was lost. I was confused. How do I begin my life? So much time wasted. So many opportunities gone. So I recommended with someone I used to know back in Libya who introduced me to Symbols of Hope. There is this NGO that helps people pick up, get started again. I was like, no, I don't want to. He said, why not? Come. You can be a part of them. So he told me all the good stuff they've done for them, all the social support that was given, the business training, all of that. I said, okay, I want to be a part of it. I'd like to be a part of it. I came down to Symbols of Hope, and it's amazing. It's amazing. All the support they gave to me. Because it got to a point, I stopped believing if there was God or not. I stopped going to church, I stopped praying, I was just existing. I took it day as it comes, no plan. But after coming to Symbols of Home, I'm so grateful for all the bishops here. They are so accommodating and receptive. The words of encouragement, how sometimes we misbehave, they say, don't come late, we come late, but yet, they never gave up on us. They took us in as their own children, they loved us, they pray with us, they give us hope again, just like the Symbols of Hope, they give us hope again. Because right now, I can tell you that I am so happy. I am happy for the whole empowerment, for the whole support. I've really, really healed a whole lot, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Thank you, sir. I'm so grateful.
Sir, for record purpose, you should know your name, sir.
Okay.
Your name.
Your names and your position.
Okay, I am Mr. Nduka Augustine. I'm a superintendent of narcotics, and I'm the staff officer in charge of sensitization in the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, FCT Command, Gudu.
Sir, what is the NDLEA doing to discourage those young Nigerians from these Java syndromes that is happening? Drug trafficking, human trafficking as well.
Thank you very much for the question. We all are witnesses to the trend that a lot of our young people feel that there are greener pastures, outside the shores of our country. And like we usually mention to people, it's not always so green when the stories are told. So the NDLEA, as an agency of government, saddled with the responsibility of not just law enforcement arrests of drug dealers, we also saddled with the responsibility of public enlightenment. And that is one of the areas we have common cooperation ground with Symbols of Hope project that is happening today. Drugs are involved for you to be able to do face through the trauma that people go through when they are trafficked. Some people are trafficked, they are given drugs, and they are trafficked. I was mentioning a case where young people in the university were lured into because they have international passport with visas. They came from very good families, and the traffickers gave them drugs just to fly over to the UK and come back over the weekend without their families knowing. It was on an interrogation within the airport. The families were called and were able to find out that the families did not know about these trips. They were just deceived. So enlightenment is important to us. Every person needs a public enlightenment message that the deceivers can trick you into initiating drug use or initiating being involved in drug trafficking. So sensitization, enlightenment are key things that we are doing in that regard, of course, apart from trying to arrest the traffickers themselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.